Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another episode of the J&J Show, another production of Empire Sports Media. I'm JJ, he's Jacob. We've done this for 25 episodes now. This is now 26. Jacob, how you doing today?
Not bad. Sports, we're going to get into it, but a lot to talk about this past week.
A lot of BS happened. But
it's going to be a good episode. Going to be a great episode.
But before we get to the BS, let's start with a positive note. Are you feeling it? Because I'm feeling it. You know the saying in Lion King? You know the one that goes, Akunya Matata.
Yeah, I know the guy that got hurt yesterday.
I was singing that song for 3 hours once this man arrived in the majors. Luis Angel Acuna has been phenomenal. I get it was against the Nationals, but the dude is hitting .467 since he got the call up to the majors with 2 home runs and a bunch of RBIs. He looks calm as hell at the plate. It's like we're not missing Lindor at all. It happens. But he's done great.
For sure. I mean, he's the second coming of his brother. Who knows if he might even be better than his brother in his MLB career.
All right. Let's not get ridiculous, Jacob. Come on.
Potential. There's potential. There's potential here.
Let's not get ridiculous. Anyway, moving on. The next thing I want to talk about is I'm going to ask the question. You're going to hate it, but I want you to answer it. With the current stretch that they're on, can this Mets team actually make the playoffs? I think they can.
I keep knocking it, but the way that they're at, they definitely can. They just got to continue to win. I would say they have the harder schedule than the Braves do to finish the season, but it's going to come down to that series in less than a week, just like the other New York team that we're going to talk about later. But yeah, it's for the Mets. It's just they got to continue to win. I mean, the Braves won today in a blowout fashion, 15-3. So the Mets got to match it. The Mets just got to match it.
They've done great so far. They came off a big series sweep against the Nationals. Probably could have swept Philadelphia in Philly, but that's story for another time. Speaking of, did we mention Philadelphia? Guess who's back? The Phillies are back. This time they're in town for a 4-game set. Tonight, we've got Walker versus Severino. Tomorrow, I will not be able to watch the game because I'm going to be having my own game. We have Christopher Sanchez versus David Peterson. Game 3, it's Suarez versus Minaya, and then Zach Wheeler against a starter to be determined. And then the Mets go out to Atlanta for their biggest series of the year. I think this is the most important series the Mets are going to have going up until that Atlanta series because Atlanta plays Miami. You're going to have to win at least 3 or 4 to really stay afloat in the standings, starting with a win tonight.
Yeah.
But onto a less stressful and positive topic. There were 2 teams that clinched the playoffs last night, one of which, the Milwaukee Brewers. The other, the New York Yankees.
There we go. It was.
There was never a doubt.
Never a doubt. We're still set. We're still waiting for one more.
I feel like they shouldn't have popped the champagne.
I mean, the Yankees have popped playoff champagne 59 times.
Yeah, but you have you have bigger aspirations than this.
That is true, but the first check mark before October has been checked off. The second one becoming the division, which they are up. I believe it's 4 games now, or actually it's 4.5. Orioles won today. Yankees are trailing at the moment 3-2 in the bottom of 7th in the final game against Seattle before they play Oakland for 3 games in the Coliseum. Potentially the last series in the Coliseum forever.
Sad.
It's a crazy thing to say. Fire John Fisher # right there. But for the Yankees, you just got to continue to win. It's basically the same thing as the Mets. Besides, one has to clinch the spot, the other's got to win a division. It's just basically the same thing as the Mets. Just keep winning and pray that the other team loses. That's basically it for the Yankees. They've got kind of an easy schedule until next week when it's going to come down to that Orioles series in the Bronx.
Even if you get swept, you're still going to be up by a game. So,
potentially.
Unless you guys drop to the Athletics, which would be terrible. You know what was terrible? When I was watching football this Sunday, and I saw how chaotic it was to watch the games. What happened this week was, I'm just going to call it chaos week. let's get right into the games. That is the wrong games. I want the bigger one. There we go. These games. We'll talk about those in a minute. Starting off with the Thursday Night Massacre, where the Bills dismantled the Miami Dolphins. It was an absolute.
That wasn't even the story of the game.
Yeah.
Also,
Sadly, poor Tua got another concussion. He should just retire. Honest to God, I love Tua, but he's got to retire. Next up, we had the Vikings upsetting the 49ers. The 49ers, sorry as I move my camera. The Vikings have not lost to the 49ers in Minnesota since 1992. Let that sink in. That is a correct stat.
My God.
What happened?
Juan Soto just got hurt banging into the wall.
Oh, yeah, y'all are cooked. Anyway, moving on.
Gosh.
Moving on. In a game where I actually bet on overtime and won. I picked overtime for Seattle and New England. It was the most obvious bet of my life. So I'm going to just go ahead and say that was a game that I bet that I'm proud of because I hit it in a landslide. But the game itself was just a bad game. It was a nightmare to watch. Seattle won in overtime. Let's move on. The Giants and Washington. Jacob, I'm going to let you get into your spiel on this game.
The Giants took their baby steps, and it showed. It actually showed. They took their baby steps, and it showed. They did not give up a touchdown this week. They did score 3, but they still come away with the L. And for me, I'm not going to blame this one on the coaches. I'm not going to blame this one on the offense, shockingly. I'm going to blame this one on the defense for their inability to get off the fields on 3rd and long. They're showing progress, but it's the defense still is the defense just needs to get off the field. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the main point. So the Giants have basically fixed most of their stuff. The O-line is getting a lot better, a lot less pressures than we're usually used to seeing. But it's the defense that just needs to get off the field on the 3rd and longs, and who knows, maybe the Giants will get a couple wins in the win column.
Yeah. It's a shame because the Giants are getting so close to winning these games, yet they completely squander it. It's ridiculous. Next game I want to talk about, well, actually, you know what? We're not going to talk about that game. The Chargers just dismantled the Panthers. Again, another very predictable game. Although we did have some breaking news as I'm going to turn my camera off for a couple of minutes. Bryce Young was benched. He was benched for the game against Carolina, and now that was something that came to me as a shock. I was not expecting that at all. Sorry, I lost the screen. Give me a minute. We're having some severe technical difficulties. It happens to the best of us. We'll move back to the Carolina Panthers game. It's a shame that they're really doing Bryce Young like this. It's kind of deserved, but it's also not at the same time. Next game that I want to discuss is the absolute belt to ass the New Orleans Saints laid on that pathetic excuse of a defense of the Dallas Cowboys. That was an absolute joke. Alvin Kamara looked like he did against the Vikings on Christmas.
Yeah, for sure.
Enough said. We move. The next game to discuss was the Packers somehow, some way winning a game with Malik Willis at quarterback.
Hey, I mean, it could work. It could potentially work out. You never know.
Colts, you should be disgusted. You're 0-2 because Anthony Richardson continues to crap the bed in big game situations. It is what it is. Just move on. Moving on to, I don't even know why I'm saying this. The Jaguars should be lockout of the week just by calling it Trevor Banks Stadium. Like, that was one of the biggest jokes I've ever seen.
Could we say that's worse than Burrowhead?
Yes, much. At least Burrow is somewhat competent. Trevor Lawrence is well, he's not great. At least Burrow can win.
True.
Browns go in, beat Jacksonville. Who cares? Next game. The Jets get their first win of the season, their first win with Aaron Rodgers under center because Will Levis pissed his pants again. I mean, really, is there a worse quarterback when it comes to the easiest things than Will Levis? Daniel Jones, worst quarterback in the league. Will Levis is just the dumbest.
I mean, bro, just did the shovel pass to throw 5 yards, and then after that acted like somehow like it shouldn't have been picked. for
I
some reason.
still don't know how. To me, he should have got, if it wasn't for Notre Dame losing to NIU, he would have got lolcow of the week just for that interception to Stevenson. He literally throws a shovel pass 30 feet in the air. He legit lofted it. What did he think was going to happen? It was a bomb? Like, what? Disgusting. What was also disgusting was the Buccaneers absolutely just running all over the Lions.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield had himself another day, and the Lions, their offense just looks terrible.
Chris Godwin's showing out early this season.
Yes, he is, but why are they not using Sam Laporta? What's the point of having him if you're not going to use him? He's arguably your best target besides Amon-Ra St. Brown. Also, when's he going to start getting his targets?
I mean, he did. He got a lot of targets this past weekend. But like, yeah, what you were saying with Laporta is, if one Lion is getting their load, another one's not. Like first week against the Rams, it was Amon-Ra who didn't get anything. Now this week it's Laporta. Who's it going to be next week in week 3?
Wow. So yeah, the whole thing is just it's an actual joke how incompetent that Lions offense is. Moving on to the late window. Actually, I lied. We have one more game before the late window, and it was if it loads, the Raiders and the Ravens.
Now this one's a shocker. This one was a shocker.
Yeah, I was very surprised by this game, to say the least. The Ravens did Raven things. Had a double-digit lead and completely squandered it away. Again. To an inferior opponent. Again. Why does John Harbaugh even bother challenging? The dude never wins.
John Harbaugh stuff right there.
Jim Harbaugh just got back to the NFL, and he's already a better coach than this.
That's crazy.
Shout out 2024 national champion.
All right.
Moving on. We had the Cincinnati Bengals getting their hearts broken once again.
Now I want to ask you: do you think that was PI? Do you think that was PI?
100%. However, there comes a point in time where you can't be throwing all these flags in the final minute because you take away the legitimacy of a win. And that's just my assessment on that. And it's a shame. It really is, because I feel bad for the Bengals. I really do. They could have definitely won this game, and it's an even bigger shame the fact that it happened once again versus guess who? Kansas City. In Kansas City, where another penalty completely screwed the team over.
Yeah.
Because
we can't even say I wouldn't even say like it's the luck. Like I think this is actually like whenever the Chiefs are on national television, when it's like the 4 p.m. CBS game with Nance and Romo or the NBC game, I feel like the game actually has a script. I'm generally serious.
I wouldn't say it's a script.
I actually do think there's like, because every game there's something that's controversy with them.
That's just the NFL nowadays. Like, the whole thing is it's a shame, but unfortunately that's just the way it goes. There's really not much that they can do about it. And Joe Burrow's face said it all. He was so hype, and then all of a sudden,
I mean, he's got his heart broken against the Chiefs many times.
Again, like he thought he was finally going to get one over again. 2022, or no, 2021 it was, and we're back. The cameras are up and running again. But it's a shame that the refs have to keep making themselves important. On to the next game, the Steelers on the Broncos. Who watched this game? I mean, really, who watched this game?
People in Pittsburgh and Colorado.
Pittsburgh and Colorado. That's a good way to put it. The Steelers won. Bo Nix turned into Mo Picks. And, that's pretty much all that needs to be said about this game. Jacob, it is time for our favorite segment of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages.
Record breaking right here. This is record breaking.
It is. I am thrilled to announce that it is the return of Lil Cow of the Week. The last Lil Cow of the Week hurt me like a motherfucker. I crowned my Notre Dame Fighting Irish as Lil Cow of the Week. They said I had to do it, and I am a man of the people. It had to be done. They lost to goddamn Northern Illinois. They deserved every bit of that Lil Cow. However, sometimes things are going to happen that probably shouldn't happen. There's going to be games where you're playing against a team and you have everything going your way. But what's that in the distance? It's a defense. It's a zone defense. It's a prevent defense.
Prevent defense.
Only a brick wall can stop you. Its name is the Eagles. 4-time Lil Cow of the Week. 4 times. You absolutely disgust me, Eagles. Absolutely disgust me. You were up the entire game against the Falcons, and you give up a 75-yard touchdown drive because Vic Fangio can't read zone defense. And to make things worse, because it did get worse, you had a golden opportunity to win the game. And what did you do? You dropped the ball. Literally. Don't get me wrong. That is 100% on Saquon. But why are you throwing?
Saquon did sell me my fantasy matchup.
You dominated them in the trenches. Run the football. You get at least 2 yards. Set up the tush push on 4th and 1. Drain clock. It's like clockwork. But no, the Eagles have another humiliating loss added to their resume. Their 4th Lil Cow of the week. Shame on you, Philadelphia. You absolutely disgust me. As for tonight's showcase, the first game I want to get into is the game that's actually going to happen in an hour. The Patriots and the Jets. Charlie Hitz joined us backstage. He will be on in about 5-10 minutes once we get through these games. Pats and the Jets. How are we feeling about this one, Jacob?
No, going into the season, everyone thought that this game is going to be an easy pick for who's going to win this game. But now this is actually going to be a really interesting game. You got a underdog. We can say Cinderella story Pats team starting off. Even though it's 1-1, both of their games have been really good contests against the teams, like against the Bengals, going into Cincy and getting a huge win, and then losing a heartbreaker to the Seahawks in OT last week. And on the other side, you've got I guess we can say, newly looked Jets.
Juggernaut. Juggernaut Jets.
I guess we can say that. First year with Aaron Rodgers at the helm. Their first week, they looked all right. I would say it looked like a 4.5 out of 10 against the Niners on the road. And then this last week against the Titans, they squeaked out a win by a score. It's going to be a really good game. It's the Jets home opener at MetLife. Crowd's going to be crazy. It's Thursday Night Football. Nothing better than this. And it's going to be a really good game, in my opinion. I can't wait to watch it.
It's simple as this. If you stop Ramondre Stevenson, you're going to win the game by 40.
Yeah.
Moving on. The next game we want to talk about, the Giants and the Browns. This game is interesting to me.
I mean, you could go into it because I know the Giants have no chance. But
the Browns' defense is incredibly suspect. They are so star-studded, but they can come out like absolute trash one day and look so good the next. Deshaun Watson, it's the same thing. Amari Cooper, it's the same thing. This game is just going to be a slugfest of 7-10 football.
Mm-hmm.
So that pretty much wraps it up for the previews. Although it is time for something bigger. And we're going to just get right into this. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. There was really nothing exciting that happened in college football this week.
Yeah.
Other than Georgia looking absolutely terrible and LSU getting a fluke win. And shout out Arch Manning for becoming the new starting quarterback. So there will be no college football recap.
Everyone, obviously, me and Gans like to shit talk each other. I'm going to give me 5 seconds of shit talk. Michigan only won by 10. They fucking blow.
Yeah. Arkansas State. All right, he is coming back in about 2 seconds. Arkansas State, that ain't good. Oh, by the way, you know who Ohio State plays this weekend.
Yes, sir. Of course I do. Why wouldn't I?
If you lose,
I've heard this from you.
you're
for, like,
not
the past
just going to
week.
hear the end of it from me. You are lol cow of eternity. Eternity. Meaning there will never be a lol cow as bad as Ohio State. Ever. Ever.
One,
So now
two,
it's your favorite segment
Three,
of the week,
three.
besides the lol cow of the week, of course. So I figured it's about time that we brought in somebody that claims to know their stuff. We're going to get right into it.
One,
Our
two,
college football. We will not have an NFL guest
three,
picker. However, we
three.
do have a college football guest picker.
hold on,
Ladies and
two,
gentlemen,
three,
from North Carolina himself, please welcome Mr. Charlie Hitt, who is staring at the screen. I don't think he knows he's on. We are staring
Bro,
at
Wi-Fi is
glass.
cracked.
We're legit looking at glass. This is bad. Okay. So while we wait for him, let's just run through our NFL picks.
All right, as I try to find Dylan's record, as
He
JJ,
did not do good.
yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that. As he did pick against his own team and win. That's for sure. 1-0.
Let's just jump right into it. First game, we have the Pats and the Jets.
4, 2, 5, 3, 5. All right, I'm going with the Jets for this one. It's kind of a short and simple answer. Even though the Pats have been showing promise, I still like the Jets over them this week.
I agree. Next up, we've got Giants Browns again.
Again, just pick the home team and move on.
This game's a toss-up, but I think Cleveland gets it.
No, how?
The Browns' offense is terrible.
And they're playing the Giants.
All right, next up, we've got Green Bay and Tennessee. But before we get back to that, I think our guest may have finally arrived. Never mind, we'll wait for him. Green Bay and Tennessee.
Malik Willis revenge game incoming.
Give me the Packers. Big.
Malik Willis back home. Never thought we'd see it, honestly.
Next up on the docket, we've got Chicago and Indy. I'm going with Indy.
Yep.
They're due for a win finally. All right. I think he's finally got it figured out somewhat. So let's bring in our guest from North Carolina, Charlie Hitt. You're here for the second time because you had terrible connection the first time.
And there it is.
There you are. Finally. All right. Let's get right into this. We're already behind. First game, we have Virginia versus Coastal Carolina.
All right, Virginia and Coastal. What are the percentages looking at? Oh, Coastal, I believe that says 55.
What do you got, Char? I'll let you go first.
Listen, being from North Carolina, I got Coastal Carolina. No other reason besides that.
Coastal. All right. I'm going to go with UVA upset.
UVA upset? All right.
Okay.
I'm going to take Coastal.
Chanticleers. All right. So this is Mia Jacobs' least favorite game of the year.
What do you mean it's my least favorite game?
Your rival versus my rival.
It's going to be my favorite game when this team loses and their season's over.
USC is going down. They will not be able to stop a legit Big Ten defense. Michigan by a million.
USC by a million.
Not surprised.
Yeah, I'm with Jacob on this one. I think USC is
exactly.
USC completely swamps Michigan.
Lincoln Riley can't win big games. He's a fraud.
Neither can.
I mean, it doesn't seem like Michigan can win games at all this year.
Oh, well, we got ourselves an excellent game. We've got Rutgers at Virginia Tech. I like this one. I like this game. I'm not going to lie. I do.
Where you going with, JJ?
I'm going with the Rutgers Scarlet Knights to get it done in Blacksburg.
All right.
I'm with JJ on this one. I think Or go ahead.
His Wi-Fi.
No, you go ahead.
Terrible.
The Wi-Fi is
awful.
Yeah, listen, I think Rutgers, it seems like Rutgers has a lot of momentum in their program, and I think this is going to be a big game just for them right now, this season and in the future. I'm taking Rutgers. I think this is a really good kind of coming out party for them.
Love it. Next up, we've got Tech versus Arizona State. I'm going with the hot hand. Give me the Rome Cadies 4-0. The Rome Cadies get it done. What do you got?
I'm with JJ. Shout out, Rome.
Shout out Rome 4-0.
Let's go!
He'd be fired up to hear this. We're going to get him on eventually to talk Arizona State football and just all Arizona football in general. But if he brings up the Cardinals game, he is banned from Empire Sports Media Productions. Moving on. Ooh, if this game was not at 4 o'clock, I'd consider doing this game for sure. My co-game of the week, Utah and Oklahoma State. Now, this is a game. But I'm going with the Pokes to get it done. I don't think Cam Rising's playing, and I think Ollie Gordon's going to run all over that defense.
Again, I'm
got?
going with JJ on this one. I think it's
Pokes.
Ollie Gordon's been disappointing this season, but I think this is going to be a great game for him.
Oh, yeah.
Ollie Gordon needs to wake up at some point. This is probably going to be the game for him.
Moving on, we've got TCU versus SMU. This game to me is rough, but I'm going with Texas Christian to get the job going.
On the road.
Are you good, Char?
No, the Wi-Fi's chalked, but it is what it is.
It's brutal. I
Can't
told
see
you
it?
shouldn't have done. I told you shouldn't have done that soccer game. I told you.
Let the man get his money.
Hey,
Well, how much are they paying you?
Let the man get his
you know what?
money.
It's more for the experience. They pay me.
That's
But
good.
hey, listen, I'm going SMU.
SMU.
I got a feeling.
The newest.
It seems like it's the underdog pick, but that's who I'm going with.
Next up, we've got Cal, Florida State. I'm taking Cal. Florida State
Yeah, me
might
too.
go 0-12.
What the Cal Bears versus the DJ? You need to get a jobs.
Yeah.
Shit, I might as well just take you at FSU to get their first one because why not? Honestly, why not?
Next up,
That's what I thought. That's what I
Toledo-
thought last week against Memphis, and that didn't turn out very well.
Next up, we got Toledo versus Western Kentucky. Ooh.
Ooh.
Who am I kidding? Toledo by 1,000,000.
Yeah.
I think his Wi-Fi's chalked, but I'll go Toledo. I'm gonna just say Toledo. So if Charlie's Wi-Fi kicks back in, we're good to go.
Yeah, I got Toledo also.
All right,
Toledo beat Mississippi State last week, didn't they?
Yes, they did. And they crushed them. They didn't just beat them; they crushed them. All right, so Toledo for everybody,
Yeah,
and then
I-
Iowa
I got it,
versus Minnesota. Iowa versus Minnesota. What do you got, peeps? Let me hear it.
Ooh.
Shoot, I don't know. I don't know if Iowa's gonna score more points or their punter's gonna punt the ball more times.
That's a good shout, but I'm going with Iowa by
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah. I agree with that.
I'm
All
with
right.
you guys.
Charlie.
Maybe a 6-3 game.
It is time
JJ,
for the
sick of
reason
it.
that we. It is time for the reason we brought you on this show. After 2 straight
Ooh.
NFL games, we are headed back to the college football circuit for Game of the Week, and no game does it better than the showdown in Norman between the number 6 Tennessee Volunteers and the number 15 Oklahoma Sooners. Charlie, lay it out for me. Who is going to win this game and tell me why?
I have the Tennessee Volunteers by at least 2 touchdowns on Saturday night in Norman. I
2
think the
touchdowns?
biggest mismatch.
Goddamn.
Mismatch. Do what?
I said, goddamn. Continue.
So the Tennessee defensive line and Oklahoma's horrendous offensive line is really going to show. I think there's going to be a lot of attention on Nico and Jackson Arnold, but at the end of the day, it's going to be the offensive line and the defensive line, and Arnold's going to get stopped. Tennessee's defense, which has allowed, I believe, about 5 points a game this season compared to the offense's
Jesus
63,
Christ.
will hold up for another big win.
Well, you steamrolled NC State, so I got that pick wrong. Other than that, I've been good
Yeah.
with Tennessee games. So, you know what? I gotta say it. Give me good old Rocky Top. I'm taking
That's
the
right.
ball.
That's right. Go Vols.
Yeah, this is an easy pick. I don't care if Oklahoma's home.
I hope this is a very high-scoring game because the last 3 game of the week
This
for
is-
scoring have sucked ass. All of them have been field
This
goal,
is gonna
field
be
goal,
an-
field goal, everywhere. Please be a high-scoring game.
It's going to be
Yeah,
a must-watch game. I mean, it really is.
beg of you.
In Norman on Saturday night for their first ever SEC game against former Heisman or championship winning quarterback in Josh Heupel is going to be fantastic. Like, it's must see
Yeah.
TV.
And Charlie, where can you watch this game on YouTube?
On YouTube.
Oh,
Are you guys streaming it?
there it is.
Game of the week, baby. Tennessee, Oklahoma. Robbie Basil is on the call, and I'll be his color guy. We're in for a show.
I like
on
it. I
Saturday
like
night.
it.
Yeah, because I need a break
Listen,
from
that's gonna be a
play-by-play.
fun one.
I've done 3 straight. I need a break. So I'll be the color guy.
It's my homecoming night on Saturday night, so I'll be able to tune in. But man, my eyes are going to be on the scoreboard.
You enjoy yourself, Charlie. Thanks for hopping on, and good luck with that soccer game.
All right. Shout out
Back
to the
to
Wi-Fi.
business.
Shout out to the Wi-Fi. Goes Bear.
Back to business. Houston and Minnesota.
You know, this game could have been a J.J. McCarthy versus C.J. Stroud game.
I wanted it to be really bad.
But even I would have been picking the same person even if he was playing, taking the Texans.
So originally, I had Minnesota winning this game. Well, I think it's somewhat likely Minnesota can get this job done. But I mean, after seeing what Houston's D-line did to Chicago, Jesus fucking Christ. I am going with the Houston Texans. Oh, great. That cannot be right. Marcus Freeman is set to appear on the Talk to a podcast in the coming weeks.
No shot.
I hope that's not right. Moving on.
All right. Dylan Shallon's final record is in.
And it was
10-8.
not bad. So pretty much the same as Jack.
I guess so, yeah.
Next
Oh, wait,
up.
hold up, wait. Was it? I was looking at the wrong Jack's wrong record. Where's Jack's record? Yeah, Jack had one more loss because I think one more of Jack's things lost or something.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Dylan is the new leader technically.
Next up, we've got the Eagles and the Saints. I'm going with the Saints. I'm buying into the hype. This Eagles defense is trash. This Saints offense is going to pick them apart. Plus, no one wins in the Superdome. That's just a fact. So what do you got, Jacob?
I'm gonna go with the Eagles this week, even though the Saints hype is even though the Saints
Very real.
Yeah, even though the Saints hype is very real, it's gonna run out eventually. I see the Eagles bouncing back, and
You make me
I
sad.
think they're gonna get a win.
Make me sad. Next up, we've got the Chargers and the Steelers. Oh, Jesus Christ. Well,
Someone said to me it's the battle of the top 2-2-0 pretenders in the league.
damn it, the Steelers are not a pretender. They're going to prove that on Sunday. Give me the Yinzers.
I agree, 1000%.
Next up, I feel like this game is the next two are very self-explanatory. Tampa Bay, Las Vegas.
I would say the Bucks game, or not the Bucks game, the Raiders game could be a close one potentially, even though everyone's saying the Panthers are starting a new guy. Dylan on the other show that I'm not going to talk about. Shout out to them though. He did say that backup quarterbacks tend to just win their first games that they start coming off.
Yep, I've seen that a million times.
So I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers go into Vegas and get a win, but for right now, I'm taking the Raiders.
By the way, I just want to say, shout out to all the people that told me that I was an absolute moron actually, no, that's the wrong shout out. So it seems like that Charlie Hitt sacrificed the Carolina Panthers for Tennessee to be good.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to blow up in his face eventually. Moving on. Miami and Seattle. Now, this game to me just sucks. I hate this game.
I mean, it had potential to be a really good game, but the fact that Tua turned the ball over against the Bills is not playing, Seahawks are going to run away with this one.
Yeah. Not so fast. Tyler Huntley is going to be the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins.
Skylar Thompson.
Tyler Huntley.
Pretty sure Skylar Thompson was already named starter, but all right, continue.
It doesn't matter. The Seahawks absolutely love to play down to competition, and they do it again with a loss to Seattle.
I mean, I know from personal experience. They did lose Colt McCoy that 1 year. Against Giants. All right, JJ, who got this next game?
Next up, Baltimore and Dallas.
Now, both of these teams have been underwhelming this year for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But this game is still going to be a really good game, I feel. And I think the Baltimore Ravens going to Dallas and win.
Yeah. I agree. By a mile.
All right, JJ. This is your game right here.
Do I really have to talk about this game?
I mean, you could just say your team and move on, but I think the people would want to hear you.
Pains me to do it.
Wow.
Let's move on.
No belief.
None. The Niners own this team. However, I was the fade god for the Rams last year, so let's hope I can go back to being the Rams fade god.
My gosh.
Breaking news.
Yep.
Shohei Ohtani has done it. The first 50-50 season in MLB history. My MLB post notifications are going silent. Because my phone, that page is about to explode. Moving on, we've got Detroit and Arizona. Also, shout out to the boys up in Syracuse. They struck gold this morning. Because on April 19th, for one night only, the greatest band in the history of music, Metallica, will be performing at the Carrier Dome for one night only.
So, and sources also say JJ Seglio will be there.
100%. That'll be like my third time seeing Metallica. I'm going again for sure. Moving on, Detroit and Arizona. Last week was a fluke. Lions win big.
Agree 1,000%. Give me the Lions.
Chiefs and the Falcons. This game to me is interesting. I think the Falcons could definitely get a win, but it's the Chiefs on primetime. I feel like I have to pick Kansas City.
Yeah, for sure. The Chiefs are going to run away with it.
Monday Night Football's doubleheader between the Jags and the Bills and the Commies and the Bengals. Who is the guest picker? We already did the guest picker segment, Mr. Basil. Charlie had a lot of problems, so we're doing the NFL by ourselves. The NFL picks after last week's chaos. We needed a bye week. So we're going to make both picks at the same time, and I'm just going to be boring and take Buffalo and Cincinnati. But Washington's going to put up a fight.
I guess I'll second the boring picks. I'm going to take Buffalo and Cincinnati also.
Washington will put up a fight, however. You know what? It's only been 38 minutes. We have a lot of time on our hands. We're coming back for one more week, boys. New York high school football. I control all Section 9. He does all Section 1. Jacob, lay the games on me, my friend.
All right. As last week, I'm not going to pull up the scores from last week. Actually, I guess I can.
How did I do, by the way?
Let's check. If we go back, I didn't write them down, but I think I remember. Obviously,
what I know I got
won.
wrong. I know that Monroe beat Cornwall.
Yep.
18-9. Shocked by that when we found
18-9. 18-9.
That's right. That's correct.
Beacon beats New Paltz 19-8. Basically the same thing.
Okay.
Warwick beat
Middletown.
Warwick beat Middletown 35-6.
Yep, 35-6. The upset of the week. A lot of people were shocked by that.
Port Jervis beats Liberty 54-0.
No shock. No surprises there. Port Jervis is a juggernaut.
Marlboro Central beat Highland 10-3.
Also, no surprise in the blue versus black game. Always a good one.
Valley Central beat Washingtonville 30-6.
No shocker there.
Socrates beat Roosevelt 12-7.
No shocker there again.
Pine Bush beat Lords 33-0.
Absolute ass kicking from the Bushmen.
And
They
finally,
destroyed-
we have Goshen beating
They-
Kingston 27-21.
Kingston's terrible. All right, so I got a lot of those pictures on, but I don't care because a lot of teams that I don't like lost. Jacob, your Section 9 games for this week. Hit me.
All right, so we're going to be starting it off with New Paltz against Washingtonville at Washingtonville.
I feel like Washi, after that embarrassment, is due for a bounce back win. They're playing a Class B opponent in New Paltz. I'm expecting Washi to get a get back win this time around.
All right. Next game, we've got the number 4 Cornwall Central
Versus
Heading
number 1 Newburgh.
over to face the number 1 ranked team in Section 9, the Newburgh Free Academy Goldbacks.
My brothers. Now, I've been asked a lot about this game, and from the practices that we've had, we are determined to get this job done. We have a much bigger opponent next week in Monroe, and this is also a non-league game. So if we lose, it does not matter, but I'm definitely not picking against us. We're going to go out there and handle our business.
All right. Next game, we got Lords
Oof.
heading over to face the number 2 team
Oh,
in
boy.
Section 9. In the name that you just said about 10
Yep.
seconds ago,
Yep.
Monroe Woodbury.
Crusaders are going to annihilate them. I mean, Lords is garbage. Monroe's defense is unbelievable. Their offense is very fast, and it's going to potentially set up a battle of what's most likely going to be 2 undefeated teams going one-on-one against each other. It's going to be a
All right,
great week.
Next, we've got number 23 Spack and Kill against number 17 O'Neill.
So O'Neill got boat raced by Burke last week. I feel like Spack and Kill is finally due for a big win. I'm going to go with Spack on this one.
All right, next we got number 20 Chester against Dover.
Chester. Moving on.
All right, next the team you just mentioned, Burke Catholic taking on Roosevelt.
Now, Presidents just lost in a game against Saugerties. Saugerties is one of the worst football teams. So I'm expecting Burke to absolutely obliterate Roosevelt. They're going to kill FDR.
All right, next we got number 10 Valley Central against number 18 Wallkill.
So Wallkill do not look good, to say the least. Valley Central coming off a huge win. I talked to a bunch of their guys because I do have a few friends from Valley Central. They're expecting to give Wallkill the belt, and I agree. Wallkill is not a good football team, and I think VC pounds them.
All right, we got 2 more games to go. We got number 19 Beacon against JJ's favorite team, Kingston.
Kingston Tigers. Oh, I cannot stand that team. Not as bad as Monroe, but still pretty bad. So let's move on. Obviously, Kingston is going to get demolished.
And our final game, number 7 Pine Bush heading on the road to face number 3, the team that just took an L to the hands of the Newburgh Goldbacks, Minnesink Valley.
You said Minnesink versus who?
Pine Bush.
So Pine Bush is coming off a major win. However, I don't know how Pine Bush is going to do because I'm going to tell you right now. In the first half, Minnesink kicked our ass. It was bad. We could not stop the run for the life of us. And Pine Bush is a fast team, but their defensive line is not it. I'm expecting Minnesink to run the ball down their throat. Give me the Warriors in an upset. So let's jump right in. Section 1, your section that you know very well. Have you done any bit of research since last week? Any?
Oh, there we go.
Have you got any better since last week? Because last week you literally knew nothing.
Yeah, a little. Yeah, we're learning. We're learning about it. We're learning.
Progress is progress.
Learning by
Let's
the day.
start
Learning
off
by the day.
with Tappan Z versus Edgemont. Who the hell are Edgemont? They're 0-1 with a loss to Irvington, who I've never heard of. Who the hell is Edmont? Sorry, I lost you for a second. I still lost you. Well, we're taking a look at the rest of these games. We do have some good matchups. We've got North Rocca versus Mamaroneck. You've got Pearl River versus Pleasantville. You've got Eastchester Fox Lane. Rye versus Clarkstown. Clarkstown South versus Ossining. Carmel Suffern. Somers Mayapack. We do have some good games, to say the least. So as we wait for Jacob to get his network connection back, I apologize in advance. We did not think we'd be having these kind of difficulties this late in the show, but sometimes you just got to prosper. Oh, there he is.
So,
Sorry, I lost you for a minute.
Wi-Fi crash. My bad.
Unfortunate.
Yep. All right.
Unfortunate. First game we have is Tappan Zee versus Edgemont.
Obviously, coming off a huge win against Peekskill last week, where the offense looked great, the defense looked great. I'm going with Tappan Zee over Edgemont this week.
Yeah, I have no clue who Edgemont is, so I'm expecting them to go out there and win this thing. So next up, we have Peekskill against Poughkeepsie. And both these teams are terrible.
Yeah, both of these teams are pretty bad. I got news that Poughkeepsie is pretty bad, but they are better than Panis, as I picked Panis last week. I don't know who won that game, but yeah, that was a wrongful pick apparently. So I'm gonna pick them this week over Peekskill. Peekskill did get shut out last week against Tappan Zee.
Panis demolished Poughkeepsie.
Okay, so I'm still going with Poughkeepsie anyways.
I'm going, yeah, good pick. John Jay against Scarsdale.
Now, Scarsdale, they're coming off a win against Mamaroneck last week by 11. And John Jay coming off a L against Carmel, which we expected. They also lost to Chaminade, which shout out to Chaminade. I'm going to go with Scarsdale this week over John Jay.
Next up, we've got Tuckahoe against Putnam Valley.
We're going to go with Putnam Valley in this one.
All right. North Rockland coming off a huge win against Arlington against Mamaroneck.
I think North Rockland continues that momentum against Mamaroneck. They're going to get the win this week at home.
Next up, we've got Ketchum versus White Plains.
Ketchum versus White Plains. Ketchum, a bit of an interesting team. They lost to Yonkers Forest last week. And for White Plains, they got if my thing loads real quick. They also lost to Austin last week. So it's a battle of two teams coming off L's. I'm going to give the upper hand to Ketchum on this one. I think Ketchum gets the win.
All right. Next up, we've got, which should be a good one, Ardsley versus Nanuet.
Both these teams are really good. I've heard Ardsley's been doing good recently this season, so I'm going to pick Ardsley going into Nanuet to beat them.
Spring Valley against Mount Vernon.
Ooh, Spring Valley, Mount Vernon. I'm going to go, it's an interesting one here. Spring Valley against Mount. Are they playing East Ram? I don't know. It says East Ram on my screen, but it don't matter. Let's go with Spring Valley to get this one.
Pearl River, your favorite team,
Of course.
and Pleasantville.
Pleasantville with a shocking crush. I wouldn't even say defeat. They got killed by Bronxville last week.
That was embarrassing.
33-7. Shout out to Nick Natali on Pleasantville. If you didn't know that, JJ.
They got demolished.
Yeah. So, obviously we got to support the boys. Give me Nick Natali and Pleasantville to beat that other school they're playing.
New Rochelle against Arlington. Two teams that fell off the face of the earth after getting pounded by Newburgh.
Yeah. Suffern just demolished Newburgh after Curtis.
Newburgh. The hell?
Excuse me, Suffern. Newburgh's on the mind a lot. Against the Suffern. Arlington. They've
You mean
gotten
New
demolished.
Rochelle? You mean New Rochelle?
Yeah, I can't talk right now. I'm so
Jesus.
sorry. Yeah, both of these teams have gotten crushed in their first 2 games, so it's really a battle of 0-2 teams. But I'm gonna go Arlington on this one at home against New Rochelle.
Next up, we've got Long Island Lutheran. You know, we're not even going to talk about that game. I don't think you know.
They're
either
probably gonna
team.
win. Honestly, they're probably gonna
They
win.
play Port Chester.
Oh yeah, they're definitely winning.
Next up, we've got Walter Panis versus Greeley.
I'm gonna take Greeley on this one. You know, I've heard Greeley is good, and I think they're actually gonna beat Panish by 2 or 3 tutties this week. Excuse me.
Next up, we've got East Chester versus Fox Lane. That could be a good one. 7 versus 12.
7 versus 12. We're gonna take East Chester on this one. I think they go in and get the dub.
Next up, we've got Clarkstown North versus Rye.
Ooh, that's a good one. Let's go. We're gonna go with Rye on this one at home against North.
Nyack versus Harrison.
Another good game there. Let's go. We're gonna go with. We're gonna go with. Let's see who we can pick. Nyack against Harrison. I'll go with Harrison for that one at home. Number 5.
Pittsford versus UP Charter.
I don't even know what school. Actually, I actually think Pittsford is where the Doherty Dozen kids play on. I'm actually dead serious.
Okay,
I'm not clouding. I actually think that's where.
Okay, so both teams lose. Clarkstown South versus Ossining.
Ooh, this is a good one. We're gonna go with. Let's go with Clarkstown South on this one.
Clarkstown South is also definitely not Clark. I don't know why it's Clarkstown South's on here twice. But we got Carmel versus Suffern.
That was actually a pretty good game, but I think Carmel is gonna come out and get the win.
And our last game, number 1 Somers versus number 4 Mayapack.
This is a really good game. You know, both of these schools have really good football teams. But the team that always gets to the Dome is going to come out on top. Give me Somers to go into America.
All right.
To win.
Good picks, Jacob. And that's going to wrap it up for our high school pick segment. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this episode of the J&J Show. We had many technical difficulties, but we did the best we could. Jacob, you have anything to say before we call it a day?
The Yankees lost. Shohei Ohtani's going to win an NL MVP, and that's that. Yeah.
Should never have given it to a DH. He doesn't play defense. That's all I have to say as I'm coping. Have a good day, everybody. We're signing out.